Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Detective Comics issue 990. DC, stop making these awesome covers. Anyway, don't stop making the awesome covers. They do have an interesting smell to them that makes me wonder if it's slightly carcinogenic, because it just, like, seriously, even in this small room right now, I'm smelling it from back here, and like it's kind of away, and just like, I'm a little bit nervous right now, right? I don't want to be getting cancer from my comic books. Could you imagine that? Like, that's it. The world will be over for me, all right? So the art in this is unbelievably good. That first page, holy crap. So To Face the Face Part 3, A Conflicted Man. James Robinson is the writer. Stephen, I think it's Stefan Segovia is the artist. Ivan Placencia is on colors. Page number 8, 17, 18, and 19 were done by Alan Pasalacqua. I'm so sorry, I know I killed that name. Rob Lay did the letters, John Paul Leon did the cover. And the variant cover is Simone Bianchi. One of those, I'm sure. It's got to be one of those. And Batman was created by Bill Finger, and Bob Kane was walking by and ducked in the hallway and took all the credit. Okay, so Batman, basically what happens here is that Batman is going after Two-Face, and he loses him, has a conversation with what's his face, Signal, Duke, and then he goes off and he finds him again. Stops a attempted assassination because Cobra comes in. No, not Cobra from like Cobra Commander G.I. Joe, but like regular Cobra from DC Comics. I got the first appearance of the character Cobra, but here's the organization at this point. And yeah, we got like Batman goes back and he finds Two-Face again, and apparently they're gonna have to work with each other. That's basically what happens in this comic book. Not a whole lot. There's a little bit of action. All of it, it's like I said, it's drawn really well. Now I got to talk about Mr. Robinson. I was not a fan of the writing in this comic, and I'm specifically talking about sentence structure. There were a couple of grammatical errors, and I know I call myself Professor Bill, and it seems kind of facetious and whatnot, but I did get the name from being a university professor teaching English as a foreign language. So I still have my accolades, and I still got my red pen. I still got my red marker to just do some syntax errors and whatnot. And this comic book is, I don't know about filled, but there's enough that made me like reach mentally, all right? Like a phantom limb was reaching for my pen, okay? My phantom pen, let's just put it that way. But what's worse is the way that the conversation went here. Here's Batman. Batman is running after chasing these guys, and he's like, you know, first off, oh God, it kills me that he's mentioning to Two-Face, you send these people after me, these henchmen, and he calls them these insipid goons. Go ahead, find me one other Batman comic book or detective comic where Batman talks like that. Show me one other place where he uses the word insipid. Maybe you can, and I'll make fun of that one too. Like that, I'm not trying to make fun of it. That's actually bad, very poor choice of words on my part. But I've always had the problem with Batman being that cosmic level player, in the sense that he gets sent off into space in the Justice League comic books or in the big events, and he's fighting against Doomsday and Darkseid, and okay, maybe not Doomsday, but possibly Doomsday at some point in the future. And like all these other, his proteges have gone against Doomsday, Tim Drake, present and future, and didn't even break a sweat, you know, getting rid of him. But I mean, like, you know, dude, you don't mention it, though, in the regular Detective Comics or Batman comics. You don't do that. So he mentions, you send these insipid goons after me? These? I fought against new gods before. And suddenly, I'm completely taken out of the comic book because there is no threat to Batman. I do not feel that Batman's life is in danger. I've always had that problem that some writers will have him in space while at the same time in the Batman and Detective Comics issues, he's having a hard time fighting against the freaking Riddler, right? But when you actually say it while he's fighting a couple of Two-Face's goons, now I am completely out of the comic book, just saying, you're right. There's zero threat here. Batman's life is not in danger. There's no issue here whatsoever. There's no threat. I'm not invested in this comic book anymore. We're done. Game over. Why did I purchase this comic? Oh, wait, because the excellent art in this cover is freaking sexy. That's why. But let's continue. Okay. Batman, everybody's language is just horrible in this, man. Everybody. So, like, the conversation between Duke and Batman was, and you know, Bruce was probably the best of all of them here, but, like, some of this language, man. Commissioner Gordon talking to Harvey Dent. My God, Bullock, this is a slaughterhouse. Hell of a thing, huh, Commish? Well, I'm relieved you're alive at least. You too. Some others weren't so lucky, though. Cops and civilians both. I got no idea how we got so lucky that we were able to take down these cheap creeps. Take these cheap creeps down, whatever. I'm trying to get to the part where it really bothered me. Okay, here we go. Why, your namesake. Harvey's Dent's like, wait, what are you talking about? Who was I supposed to see? Who are we talking about? Commissioner Gordon says, why, your namesake. The other Harvey. Two-Face. I'm sure I saw him, and I'm equally certain he's the reason we're all alive. Those of us who are. So the $1 million question, 2 million. $2 million question. You know why I don't watch network news, cable news, you know, the ABC or the Channel 7, the Channel 5, the Channel FU, okay? All those. The reason why I don't watch them is because the people don't actually talk like human beings. If I'm going to, I haven't bought a suit in Canada since I've been here for these 2 years. But, you know, in the States, I bought plenty of suits, all right? My place of choice was the Men's Warehouse. And if I'm in the Men's Warehouse, I go walking in, and the guy comes up to me. Usually I'll, you know, how are you, sir? You know, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty good, listen, I'm in here for a suit. Maybe I could be convinced to a nice blazer to go with it, just for the sake of, but I'm looking for a nice suit, business attire. Yeah, so what do you got for me? And I'm thinking of a nice olive drab. I don't have one of those. You know what I'm saying? Like, and right away it's like, you know what, let me see what I got for you. You know, how you like these, and, you know, let me take this in a little bit, you know, like just whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a civilized conversation. He's still a customer, I'm still a customer, and he's still making commission. But he's talking to me like a human being. All right? If I were to walk into one of these places and I would hear, "Good morning. You know, welcome to the Men's Warehouse. Here we have everything, you know, from this to this to this and such. So let's take you over and have a look at, so, you know, what are you in the mood for? Okay, well, we have this kind, and let's see if we can also do such and such and such for you." I would turn around, I would pivot on my heel so briskly. It would be like I was back in the army, like just doing an about face. You know what I'm saying? Because snap to attention, turns out there's an officer behind you. I would be out of there so quick, because that's not how human beings talk. All right? If my server, waiter, waitress comes over to me in a restaurant that I'm in and talks to me like they talk in the newscast, I would get up, I would politely excuse myself, ourselves, and we would go someplace else, because that's not how human beings talk to each other. That's just, it's ridiculous, it's robotic. I don't know why they think that it makes sense to do that in the news. But I guess that's the industry standard, right? So the industry standard is stupid. In this particular case, human beings don't talk like this. This is a fairly gritty Batman Detective Comics in the modern day, and it reads, I should say, it was written as though this was Batman 1966. I expected to hear, "Well, hey, chum, let's go and, you know, take these guys down. Holy Two-Face, Batman." I was really disappointed in the writing in this. Painfully disappointed. There are no personal attacks here. I am not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm simply stating I did not like this writing. Real talk. If I'd have seen this writing before I purchased the comic book, I would not have purchased this comic book. Depending on how many views I'm getting on this video, I might not actually be reviewing the next issue, because I don't want to purchase the next issue. I'm just giving y'all a straight heads up, man. I'm actually really bothered by how poorly the words were the sentence, just how poorly worded this book was. I'm trying to be nice and find a better way of describing it. I hate the way that this book delivered almost every sentence in this book. The characters sounded like robots. They did not sound like people. Okay, this is Gotham Central, man. I wouldn't even be cool with this if this were Metropolis speak, but this is Gotham, dude, so I did not like this at all. It was forced, and it felt pretty contrived. I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.